What's good, y'all? We're gonna talk about something interesting. Why do people fear the military so much? You do realize that the military is mostly made up of an all-volunteer force, right? What incentivizes people to actually join the military? Travel, money, college. Maybe not so much, because when you're there, you're usually going to be on curfew. You're always doing some shit for the government or whatever. Or you're always working, so it's like you barely get to explore anywhere, you know? So travel's kind of like, It's like for all the shit you do, you can go above and beyond, but you're still going to be salaried, which means you go above and beyond if you want. You ain't getting paid overtime, but it's a guaranteed check. Now, how many people are going to do whatever it takes to have a guaranteed check if it means costing your life? Shit, you also got to think about the selfishness of human nature as it is. Self-preservation will come before anything, even in the midst of a gunfight. I mean, people can sit there and say they sacrifice their life for their brothers and whatnot, but it's like if this dude gets shot, he's not gonna be able to cover my ass, and then I'm gonna get shot. So it was never about him first. It was about saving this motherfucker, so the motherfucker on the right don't blow my head off while I'm over here killing these other motherfuckers right here. Now, there may be combat veterans who may disagree with me. That's fine and dandy. It's cool, you know. So that's what we fought for, allegedly, right?
So you're that guy.
Now, although the military has all this advanced technology, you need to recognize that most of that technology is being maintained by people who are low on morale because of poor leadership.
Shit gets deeper. You get the picture.
I was in the military. I was a veteran, Air Force. Shit, most of that technology is from the 60s. And technology back then did work reliably for most of the time. That's probably why they still use it.
Fucking charmer, this one.
If you're being assaulted today by aircraft, it's gonna be by some shit from the 60s, which, and yes, an EMP could probably knock out.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Imagine if people just stopped joining the military. Then they'd institute a draft. But I want y'all to remember, laws are just words scribbled on paper that they tell you have to follow by people who have like ridiculous amounts of money.
You're in people's shit where you're not supposed to be.
It's always people who've never served in the military and who have never been in combat, who've never done anything, who've never even like raised a salute, that are telling you to go up over there and, free those people. And like, if these motherfuckers wanted to be free, or if these motherfuckers had a problem with their leadership, they rise up and do it their goddamn self. Invading other people's land and shit, taking their shit, and we call it freedom. And then whenever we leave, the shit's more fucked up than it was there. Yeah, it may have been perfectly stable before we got there, and all of a sudden you get there and it's like you turn a utopia into a dystopia. It refers back to that speech with George Bush talking about they hate our freedom and whatnot. I gotta think, when he said they hate our freedom, who exactly or what exactly was he referring to? Because as far as I know, all humans want to be free. So who would hate somebody else because of their freedom? Logically, that makes no sense. Now, you also got to think about biblically what that says. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places, or higher powers in high places and whatnot. Those entities have laws that they have to abide by. They can't. Everything they do, they have to get permission. So when he made that speech that they hate our freedom, maybe he was referring to other interdimensional beings, demons.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, maybe they hate human freedom, human free will, so to speak. So maybe that's what that was really saying. I don't know. What y'all think? You tell me. The military has been heavily pussified. When I was at the tail end of it, they were starting to do sexual assault briefings every other week. If a bitch even takes a sip of alcohol and she says no, how the fuck do I get blamed too if I'm drunker than this bitch is? And this bitch just decides to, I didn't feel like I regret sucking his dick. I regret letting this dude shoot all up at me, so now it's rape. And then they allowing all these like homosexuals and shit up in there. I'm like, why? That's only gonna cause more confusion. Like niggas like breaking each other's backs in the goddamn barracks.
So you're that guy.
How the fuck the nigga gonna walk in a gunfight then? Put his back against the wall. You can't stand against the wall, take cover when your back broke from the night before. I predict in the next 5 or 10 years, you're gonna have a gay soldier movie. Actually, that shit might be right around the corner. And that shit's gonna get universal praise. It's probably gonna get a 9 out of 10 from Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb and all that shit to further push that narrative that homosexuality is okay. If it was okay, you wouldn't need to have to shove it down people's throats. You wouldn't have to treat it like a bitch trying to deep throat, who don't want to deep throat. You wouldn't have to rape. But people do not want that shit. People do not like homosexuality by and large. Most people will still tell you that homosexuality, I just can't do it. I just don't see the appeal to it. And I'm gonna leave race out of that. But homosexuality, you can miss me with that shit. Nobody is born gay. Fuck out of here. I don't want to hear no debate on that. I really don't. Yes, I'm closed-minded on this shit. You are not born gay. You choose that shit. If you grow up and you just are liking anal sex like that, that's not normal. Like somebody had to have done something to you early in life, and your brain just automatically repressed it. But that memory never goes away. You still carry that shit out on the low without knowing exactly why you did it. Like I said, get the fuck out of here. Oh, I was born gay. No, the fuck you weren't. Somebody touched you when you were little. And then it's bad enough that they're trying to normalize pedophilia. But then again, in the black community, that's kind of already been the thing. Because you got bitches that are 11, 12 having babies and shit in the ghetto. Shit, when I was in high school, there was bitches like looked like they were water about to break, just doing that water. And then they're allowing females to go out into combat and all that shit. Supposedly that's gonna end a disaster. Or after combat action or whatnot, ended up in intense entanglements and all that shit. Unless the bitch is like but you know what? Even with lesbians, them bitches is getting fucked too. Even with studs, them bitches are getting fucked too, because they can't resist the natural urge. They just want to swallow some nut. They can't. They can sit there and pretend that they like to eat pussy all day. They still crave penetration, like regardless of what they say. Bitch can be ugly as shit, but if you out in the desert long enough, you surrounded by a whole bunch of men, and you ain't trying to go that route, you just gonna fuck this bitch because at least she a female. I wouldn't personally. Me, I got standards, but like some niggas may just, you know what, this bitch still got a pussy, so that's better than going off in a dude's ass. And then all the other straight dudes probably that bitch probably gonna get rich off them. I'm just talking, just me talking, man. What the fuck am I saying? I suppose I should stop that for now. I need to structure this shit a little bit better.
I rest my case.